dead. 3 bars on me, I ain't talking about the Wi-Fi, band 10 wrist, I ain't talking about the sci-fi. Look at mine, not the same color as my cock, feeling like this, trying to kick it like soccer.
What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to Turbo's Garage. Now, automatically, I already know what everybody's going to say. Where have you guys been? It's been a month. Now, the main thing that has drawn this build out, especially taking time, people thought I blew the motor up. I mean, if you stay away from YouTube for like more than a couple of weeks, people start to speculate and stuff. It gets crazy. But at the same time, everything is perfectly fine. What took us so long is getting head work done. And the main reason for that is we had the mistakes. Really not us, but Howard Performance had the mistakes of other shops out here that kind of screwed my heads up. I mean, I'm not going to be naming any shops and that like that, but I sent my heads off to those 243 heads that I bought. I sent them off to get cleaned and decked, for example. And from there, I got them back. The decking job was pretty spot on, but at the same time, I went to go get the heads cleaned, and it looked clean from the surface, but at the same time, whenever I sent it to Howard to get the valve springs installed, he saw they're really not clean. I mean, the inside was still gummed up with nothing but carbon. Everything was just still very, very dirty. It was just clean on the surface. It's basically what they did is one of those brake clean jobs where you get brake clean, you spray down the heads and you wipe everything down, but it's really not clean. That's basically what they did. So, I mean, I spent a good chunk of change at that shop just to kind of get screwed over on a sense. But sent it over to Howard. They installed the valve springs. They fixed everything with the heads especially, and did the 3-angle valve job. I just told them just to go all out on the heads, just do everything, just get everything where I get the heads and I button them back. And I mean, they did a phenomenal job. I mean, if you see the heads, especially before I've installed them, oh man, they look amazing. So they look like brand new casting. So I mean, when I went to go pick the heads up, I didn't even recognize them. I was like, well, where's the heads at? And it was like, well, it's those down there. I'm like, these are like brand new heads. Yeah, I mean, if you legitimately find good shops that actually have a track record of doing work, hey, you know. But I mean, besides all that, we're finally going to be able to put everything back together. You've seen in the first video us taking everything apart. Now this next video, especially what we're watching right now, this is basically going to be us putting everything back together. I don't have to go into super detail about every single thing, where every single bolt goes. The best guide for you guys to use if you're following this build is to use LS1 howto.com. I've read in that page like 50,000 times, memorized everything, and you'll be able to put everything back together in order and the right way. So let's get this video started. So, after 1 month of delays, whole bunch of stuff I had to go through. You guys already know, but time to do the first start. Now, before everybody starts bitching about this, why I kept the front timing cover open is because it's infamous whenever you take oil pumps off these LS cars, if you don't put it back on the correct way, especially with the oil pump seal, you can pinch the seal and you have no oil pressure. I don't want to button up the whole front dress of the motor, and let's say, for example, we pinch a seal and I have to take everything back down, ungasket everything, and replace it. So I'd rather just keep it open like now. It might just spray a little bit of oil as the timing chain is spinning around. It's no big deal. We did that with the Delta, so it's not that big of a deal at all. So I guess we will see. Why is my heart racing so much? Watch that oil pressure. Yeah, well, make sure it's not at like 5 or 10. If it is, shut the bitch off after 10 seconds.
All lights are on.
Ooh.
All right. 1, 2, 3. Oil pressure went up to 40.
Heck yeah!
Try it again.
What does that sound?
That might be water and cooling.
Oh, it's probably just, yeah, water and cooling. Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
Get close to make sure nothing's leaking out. But
Yeah.
It's all doing.
Ooh. Okay, so the swap is practically done. So just going over the setup again, everything I've done, BTR stage 4 cam, LS7 lifters, got the heads reworked. They're 243 heads. They're not the stock heads on the motor. Stock heads are 241s. I bought some 243s, practically Z06 heads, but they have the full solid metal valves in those. Got those reworked and milled. Everything is nice on that LS6 intake. The nitro system, we just put everything back on. But right now the engine is going to need tuning. So whenever you do a cam swap, you cannot like go out and drive it and have fun. You have to get it tuned. You have to get it properly tuned to idle right. It's not going to have enough fueling at the top. You'll lean out, you'll blow your shit up. So right now I'm gonna have to get everything tuned. Now some people can get away with driving it to tuners. I rather just get it towed just so I make sure I don't mess anything up. You don't really want to risk, especially me rebuilding the top end, putting new cam in there. I don't want to risk anything like that. I have an AFR gauge that kind of helps me a little bit, so I'm able to monitor my AFRs as the vehicle is on. We use the scan tool and the fuel trims are at like 50% enrichment, and it's still running like a 15 to 14 AFR, which is still, I mean, it jumps between 16 and 14 all the time. Yeah. So even at that area, I'm still not confident in driving it. And so right now it's gonna need to get tuned, but some other people, they get away with it. I have a huge cam. It's the stage 4 cam is actually too big for the style heads that I have, 241s. It actually needs like an AFR type of head or like one of those super heavy CNC ported type of heads. But you know, I mean, I'll get that later, or I'll just probably just scrap this, not scrap the engine, but you know, I'll go a different route. Yeah, I'll give it to Nigel or something like that. But probably later, after I do all this, see where everything goes, I might go LS3 Pro Charge and just like get a loan out of the bank. You know, I don't know where I want to go from here, but outside of this, I just want to see how this build goes. So next step, go to the tuner, get everything tuned, and see how everything runs. I still got to put a stall in it as well, but everything is going to come in due time. It's Turbo's Garage. We finally did it, and it still doesn't run right. Ooh. Sounds so good. But as you can see, I mean, that's how the car is right now.
Exactly.
So I mean,
nothing bad at all. That's just how it is.
I mean, since I'm running the stock stall on it, it's still like the drivability isn't as good as it can be with a higher stall, but still, like, this car doesn't die on me. It doesn't, like, it just bucks a little bit, especially if I'm in high gear at a very, very low speed, especially whenever like that stall is starting to chop. I mean, the cam is starting to chop a little bit, but it's kind of pressing against the converter. You'll get a little bit of bucking, but other than that, I can daily this car. That cam is actually a very, very radical cam. I mean, the cam actually likes heads that are ported and stuff like that. I still have like a stock GM head, even though it's a very, very good head, still like a stock GM head. So overall, I mean, the tune, even for like a little 1 hour little tune, he's just on the computer messing with stuff. I mean he's doing tuning, but I just say messing with stuff because I don't know what they're doing. But even though they're tuning, like just like a little hour little tune like that, I mean, the drivability is like 90% spot on. I mean, it can't really get better than this. So the only time it can get better is if once I throw the stall in there. So that's gonna be the next step. But since this car's up and working now, we can focus on other projects. We don't have to worry about 3 cars kind of down. We have 3 vehicles and none of them work. No, it's not like that anymore. But Turbo's Garage.